hammock system, you have to have some type of hammock insulation. Just like in a tent, you have to have your ground insulation. For a hammock, I've got two choices. I can go with the double layer. I can go with the typical Thermarest pad. Or I much prefer the Warbonic Yeti 20-degree underquilt. It's 3/4, so it really doesn't help from the lower legs and feet. For feet insulation, again, I can multi-purpose. The Thermarest sit pad, I have used it for my feet inside the hammock. I love it for my feet, so I do use it nightly. Sit on it during the daytime. Great piece of gear. This will definitely go all the way. This Thermarest is the one I'm questioning. I don't know if I'm going to start out with the trail and then carry it through the Smokies when I have to possibly go to shelters. I don't know if I'm going to ship it to Fontana and pick it up just for the Smokies and send it back home, and we'll wait and see. It does ride on top, but it is 14 ounces. That's almost a pound just right here. So my tendency is leaning towards shipping it for the Smokies and then getting rid of it. But like I said, if I go to the ground at the top of a bald, or if I go to the ground in Damascus for trail days with the tarp, I have no ground insulation. It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip, and I really do want to be comfortable at my age.
Hey everybody, G-Bolt here with another gear update. If you've been following my gear list and the refinement of it, I've been struggling with this pad and what to do with it. Being a hammocker, I use an underquilt, and so the pad is not really necessary. However, I'm worried about the Smokies and being forced into a shelter, and possibly later on in the whites and the presidentials.
My wife jokes with me about not missing me when I do my attempted through hike of the AT. She says she's just going to picture me with earbuds in, watching YouTube videos, ignoring the world around me, because that's what I often do. But it has its benefits. For example, in my dilemma over a pad to use when I'm forced into the shelters or possibly to the ground for my hammock, I came across a guy named Jaxx DrinkWater. Jaxx DrinkWater was filming a outing with a bunch of friends, and he showed that he and all his buddies were using what was called a Barca lounger. You start investigating Barca lounger and you come across lounge chairs that you definitely can't take on a hike. But I kept searching, so what I ultimately did was I went to his site, and if you type in Jaxx DrinkWater, it's the first one up because it is an unusual thing. And you can subscribe to his channel. He's quite a character, but definitely the one I'm looking for is the DIY Barca lounger. But let's try this. DIY Barca lounger. And there it is. He does an excellent job showing this, and I followed it to the T, so I'm not going to recreate what he's already done. Visit his site if this interests you and you decide to make one. I watched this video over and over again until I knew what materials to buy, and he tells you where to get everything, the foam pad and the Dutchware product for the Tyvek. Check out more at his website, thebeardedhiker.com. Make sure you visit him. Great guy, helped me tremendously.
Then sent away for the Gossamer Gear 1/8 inch pad and the Tyvek from Dutchware. Got those in.
Nothing is really done to the pad. It comes in the size and shape it comes in. The Tyvek, you are going to have to trim the 12 feet along one edge and then along the bottom. There's more Tyvek than what you need width-wise. I had already done this, and so I'm showing how you fold the Tyvek over, and then you would stitch up one side and then stitch up the other side. Then you would take the pad out, flip it inside out, slide the pad back in, and sew it back together.
What you end up with is a final product called the Barca Lounger, which is a 1/8 inch gossamer pad sewn in between some Tyvek. Thanks to my hiking buddy Teresa for doing the sewing. She did an excellent job, even put some loops in there.
You can see it rolled out. It's a little over 5 feet. I'm 6 foot, and so you'll see right away that part of my body will not be covered by the mat. I've got to either choose the feet or the head.
I think this is going to be the answer. It weighs in at 6.50 to 6.55 pounds. It's kind of hard to weigh on the scale. It's longer than the scale when you stand it up, and it's kind of hard to get a reading while it unfolds, but it's right around 6.5, so it cut this in half. The other thing I'll demonstrate with this is that you can line the inside of the pack with it, and so it's there if I need it.
This gossamer gear pad matches the material and the padding that's inside the ULA Ohm 2.0 backpack and a lot of other backpacks as well. It's thin, but it pushes out against the side of the bag very nicely. And then I just put my trash compactor bag in the center like always and stuff it. Works great.
This also works in supplement with my Thermarest Z-Lite seat, which I plan on taking anyway and I use all the time. And I have on the back of my shoulder straps to pull out and sit down without taking off the pack. I use the heck out of that Z seat, and so this works in supplement with that if I do go to the ground, because I can use that for my head. And then this is the full length of the body. Without the Z seat, if I put my head on this, then my calf to my feet is off the pad, which really isn't a big deal, but I do like a little bit of cushion under my feet. The other option I have is also to pull in the 1/8 inch back panel to my ULA Ohm. It's a small pad in the back panel. You can slide it out and it will supplement this as well. It can supplement my head, chest, along with the Z-Lite seat, so I can get it somewhat comfortable. There's no way this is as comfortable as this, but for the weight difference, it is fairly comfortable. And so I think I have the solution I'm looking for. If I find that I'm using it a great deal, then I will keep it in the pack. If not, can send it home. But this has become my answer for my dilemma on what to do with the pad and going to the shelters in the Smokies. If you want to look into it, I will include that link down below as well.